Luckily, this thing is locked up so tight that the motor will kind of hold it. I kind of like these two-piece retainers, except that there's a little locking pawl on there that it tends to get stuck on.
Jeez, I can't believe that just broke.
Want to use the puller?
No, it's not going to work.
Why not? I've had excellent success with the puller.
There we go. It's going.
That's an interesting method.
It was almost kind of designed to come apart that way. There we go. All right, the hardest part of that is over. Man, it's really stuck on there.
You want to hold the motor and I'll move the fan?
Nah, that's all right. I'm going to be stubborn and do it myself.
All right.
A little extra oil. Okay. There we go.
I'm so mad that the fan just broke.
I don't blame you. I'd be mad too. Okay. Is there any place you want me to put this disgusting
table.
thing down? On the table?
Yep.
Okay.
That's really not disgusting to me. Well, I would put it the other way so the oil don't drip on the... Too late.
All right. Well, I caught it before it made a huge mess, so.
Well, at least it's just a small mess.
Okay.
It's a pretty big motor.
Yeah, it sure is. Okay.
That really served its purpose.
Yeah, these motors were kind of junky. Well, now I can take this thing off. That helps a lot.
I hope it's not rusted all the way through.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. I don't expect to be able to free this up just yet, but...
Is there a lot of oil in there? Or what, a DW40?
Wow, that is not budging. I'm left-handed, so...
If it's... You think it would make sense to try to just split the motor apart and see if the front will come free?
Yeah.
Because the front might pull out if it's not all jacked
It
up.
probably will, and that's what I did last time I took an LG fan motor, a Gold Star motor apart, and it worked kind of okay that way.
Because then we can potentially put oil on both sides at least.
Right. Okay, so...
It looks like the windings would stay with the front part of the shell.
Yeah, the shell's a little bit tricky to get apart, but it's not too bad.
At least it's not riveted.
No, I took this apart on mine, and it came apart relatively easily, but it did take a little bit of coercion, like a little tap with a hammer to kind of separate it, because the stator laminations are going to be kind of rusted to the housing,
right.
So that's going to be the tough part.
Even on the inside, though?
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah, the motor's not sealed, so a little bit of water gets in there. so the next thing we'll have to do is we'll have to spin this around and take this front piece off. This is where it's going to get kind of yucky though.
Well, then we'll clean it up.
Okay. Throw it in the dishwasher or something.
Well, if you fix the dishwasher, then we can fill it up.
You drive a hard bargain. I really like taking these things apart. They're so easy to work on. Come on. Come on. There you go.
Yeah, these and carriers really did have good designs.
Objectively,
some carriers.
The Emerson Quiet Cools were better units on paper, but the problem was when they built them, they ran the lines through a hole in the bulkhead, and then they brazed them in place. So you'd have to unbraze them to take the bulkhead out. And these
That's a fatality.
Yeah, these obviously you don't have to do that. This is probably going to break.
The clip?
Yeah, they usually do. This one's pretty rusty.
I've actually never had one of those break.
Ow!
Did it just break?
No, it didn't, but it took a bite out of my finger.
Is the clip okay?
I mean, if the clip broke, you could always use a little hose clamp. That's what I've done before. Is the clip okay? I'm fine, thanks.
Good to know.
I don't know, man. I've never seen one locked up this bad before. I mean, I know that when we tested this back in the spring, it was drawing current when just the motor was running, so
yeah.
the thermal fuse isn't open.
You really have to wonder how it gets like this when the motor itself, in theory, is still good. I feel like this had to have been sitting for an extended period of time.
It may very well have been, yeah.
This also, to me, doesn't look like 20 years of use.
Come on. See, the problem is I can't really rotate this to get a little bit more leverage with the screwdriver because the motor's stuck.
Well, actually, it's pretty handy in this case.
Yeah, in this case it helps. Well, we'll get it. It's going to put up a little bit of a fight here. And these you got to be careful with because these can break pretty easily. I've had one shatter in my hands before.
Really, it doesn't feel like that kind of plastic.
Yeah, if you pull on it too hard, it can break.
I feel like that's like a more flexible plastic.
Yeah, well, the older ones that were made out of the black plastic were a little bit more brittle, but they were a better plastic overall. All right, so we can take the fan motor off the bulkhead now. All right, this is disgusting, though.
To me, it's like nothing.
I know compared to that Whirlpool. That is, look at all that mold.
That's bad because it's all mold, but it's gotten to the point where I've dealt with so many that are so far worse than this.
Wow.
Is that rusted through on the inside too?
Junk on there. That feels like grease.
That doesn't look like rust. No, that's not too bad.
No. I've seen worse. I've seen a lot worse than that. Man, what a mess. Apparently you've made more of a mess to this bench than I am right now, so...
Well, we just clean it up.
Okay. It's also another reason to put the carpeting on there.
Did you see the roll of carpet in the garage? I bought it. It's just not on here.
We got to seal in the dirt, right? This is probably really a metric screw, but...
Then we should be using metric...
Well, I'll drive 94 miles home to go get that, and I'll be back in about 3 hours.
Or we could walk 55 feet into the garage and get the metric set.
Or we could do that. But if I do that, I don't get to complain.
Well, I get to complain if you strip the bolts from using a standard set on a metric bolt.
These aren't that tight anyway.
I'm surprised they're coming off that easy.
The problem never seems to be on the indoor side. The problem always seems to be on the outdoor side.
Well, that makes sense.
That's the part that gets splashed with that corrosive water.
Well, that's one reason why the water shouldn't be in there.
What we call design for manufacturability. This is
This really is quite serviceable.
Yeah. What else do you get to take apart this easily?
Carriers, some models.
Yeah.
Some models of carriers are terrible. Like the Siesta in the bedroom is a nightmare. But that one I had in the kitchen is fantastic. It's just like this.
Oh, the XC or whatever?
Yeah. And the International comes apart pretty easy too.
I thought it was pretty cool that we were able to fix the controls on this too.
And you wanted to just throw it out.
No, I wanted to leave it at Savers actually.
It's even worse.
I know that it's worse, and you can feel free to gloat about it all you want. I'm just going to wash my hands again real quick.
What's the point?
Right.
The motor's just as dirty.
I'm just trying not to get like grease all over the cord.
Well, we gotta wash the whole thing anyways.
Alright. Ugh. What a mess. This is disgusting. I bet you, I have the heat gun upstairs. We could free this up with a heat gun.
Oh, you brought one?
Yeah, I did.
Yes, I have one here too because you use that one.
This one has an adjustable temperature. I don't know if yours does.
I'm not sure. I don't use it too often.
Yeah, mine has a little shutter on it. That
Let's put a piece of plastic down.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to get DW40 on your bench any more than I already have.
If we were really paying attention, we would put this down first.
I said I was going to make a mess, so I'm somewhat in the clear.
But this,
here.
you just vacuum that up. That's not a big deal.
Okay, so my guess is this side's going to be free.
We should probably clean that shaft really good before we try to slide it
Yeah,
out.
so I brought semi-chrome paste polish with me, so we could probably go over it with like some sandpaper first or something, and then perfect. And I like to use WD-40 as a lubricant while I'm doing it, so the sandpaper doesn't clog up. It's a trick that my uncle taught me. Yeah, this shaft is kind of gross. I think it could be saved.
I think so too.
Could I trouble you for another ticker towel? Or even just bring in the one from the garage?
I'll get one from the garage.
Okay.
Oops. Are they coming off?
I don't think I need to sand this one. This one seems to be okay. I'll oil it up first, though.
We should have done this outside. I can't believe how warm it is still.
I agree. It's a beautiful day today. It's actually warmer today than it was when we first took this unit apart back in May. By a lot.
Wow, you bought these back in May?
No, actually, I I bought these back in, I want to say April 22nd or something. But I think I brought these units here before we went to that event in early May. Like, I think...
The sale?
Yeah.
Do we have that, or was it?
Yeah, I probably brought it with me.
Or was it one of the times we went to the new old stock house?
No. It was in May. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, then that would have been the sale one.
I'm going to just take off a small piece of this, just because it's going to get ruined from the WD-40. Maybe even a smaller piece than that.
That's a pretty big piece.
Yeah. No.
That sounds pretty rough.
There's actually hair around the motor shaft.
Not mine. I haven't used it yet.
Well, it sure isn't mine, because
You don't have any.
I don't have much. This just feels so wrong doing this to the shaft, though. Well, that's a lot better. No, it's not perfect, but I'm just going to turn it about 180 degrees. I'm going to go over this side with the sandpaper.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's all open here. That's stupid.
Well, that's the bottom, so water can't travel up.
Well, it can certainly splash up though.
I think the bearing's just dry. This paper's getting kind of thin now. Yeah, that's the end of this paper. I ordinarily don't like to sand it this much, but this shaft was in bad shape.
I usually sand it till it's shiny. If I can get the thing running and do it in a reasonable amount of time.
You know what I do that actually works pretty good is I take the rotor and I put it in a drill, and then I polish up the shaft that way.
Yeah, my neighbor gave me a lathe, which I've used.
Oh, okay, that
for
works.
that purpose. That works pretty good too. I guess the drill is the same concept.
Yeah. You don't get much torque out of the drill, but you don't need much either.
No, not at all. Looks pretty good right where it goes into the motor, at least.
Yeah, that's the most important spot.
Oh, is that?
Well, I'll keep going over it a little bit more.
It's not too bad, but this still seems very rough to me. I think it might be a problem. It's going to take a lot of time to really get that cleaned down.
If you could just hold that.
I suppose we could always put it into the lathe as it is.
That feels much better now.
Oh, you can see it looks better too.
It's still a little rough. Maybe I'll turn it over again and swing the other side again.
Yeah, that's definitely getting better though.
Right. It certainly helps a lot when you have somebody hold the motor in place for you. Yeah, I think we could send it. I just want to sand that part down a little
What
bit
is
more.
that? A scratch?
That was probably where I tried to grab it with the pliers. A fingernail file would probably work real nice on that, actually. All right. So that side's good. This side probably just needs a once over. And for anybody watching, never ever ever oil a motor with WD-40.
WD-40 is a cleaner, not a lubricant.
Yeah, it's also a solvent too. This one needs a little bit of a spritz with some sandpaper just near the end here. This will probably clean up pretty easy though.
That's the indoor part?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can already tell. You can see the metal.
Yeah, that should be okay. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit more. Okay, well, I guess the sandpaper says it's done. Yeah, that feels pretty good.
It looks fine.
Alright, I guess now time for the big separation. Let's see if we can do this. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt. We'll probably have to give it a couple whacks with a hammer or a mallet.
I think I now have a rubber mallet somewhere in those buckets from that house.
Oh, do you?
That was one of the... I felt that hit me.
Okay, I found it. Okay.
That was one of the things that I haven't had and I've been
Interesting.
needing to get. So I think I have one now.
What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put a scratch on this to line this up. Just because they kind of develop a wear pattern a little bit. You want to get it in the same alignment it was before you started.
Unless you think it'd be beneficial to reverse it 180 degrees.
I mean, if you think that it's...
I would just put it back the way it was, but I've thought about that with like shaded pole motor bearings and stuff that are really worn down. I wonder if it would be of any help to switch it 180 degrees.
That may very well be the case, and I'd be very interested what people have to say about that if anybody leaves a comment.
Because in theory, the wear should be mostly on the bottom, but maybe it's not.
Yeah, I don't know. I always just put it back exactly in the same clock that it was.
I usually do as well, or I don't pay attention.
And wherever it is, it is. Like I said, I remember this being a little bit of a pain in the butt to get apart. We'll get it, but it's probably not going to be easy. But the heat gun has gotten me out of trouble so many times. It's amazing what you can unstick with some heat, be it a heat gun or a torch.
Yeah.
Whatever, that one's not going to come out. I don't care, I just need to get the nuts off anyway. The other thing I try to do, because I have put motors backwards once or twice, is I try to put a scratch, like an A or something.
Oh, you mean like the stator goes in backwards?
Or the rotor.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Alright, so if I give this a little whack.
Want me to try to find the rubber one, or is that one?
We might have to use this big boy. I mean, it is rusted, right? That's why we're here.
It's rusted?
Wow.
That's bad.
Oh. Just got to be patient, right? Okay, the other thing that we can do... Is it okay if I tap on this guy? It's made of wood.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Okay. I have had to sneak in because it depends on which bearing is the one that's stuck. There we go. Alright.
Or do you think it'd be beneficial to take the heat gun to the hole outside and give it a heat and cool cycle?
Yeah, I haven't. I wouldn't rule out doing that.
I think you're hitting the screw.
That's okay. I wanted the screw to come out anyway, so I don't mind. Yeah, that's pretty good. Wow. Like you said, it may require a little bit of heat. Heat and beat.
This is probably one of the worst motors I think I've worked on.
Well, it'll be satisfying when it works, right? Yeah, the laminations of the stator are stuck to the housing. It's coming. We'll have to do a little squeeze
Probably
action.
coming one lamination at a time.
Just gotta be patient. Okay. Now what I probably need to do is bend these tabs up because I probably hit them down a little bit before. Okay. All right. It's getting there, but this thing is stuck but good.
Oh, there it goes.
beat and repeat. It's a good thing this thing's made of wood.
It's moving.
Question is, which side is going to unstick? Boy, the bottom of this stator is pretty rusty, man.
Wow.
Look at that.
That's a shame.
See that?
I would not have expected that.
Oh man, this is annoying.
I think the wrong side is coming off.
That's okay. I mean, it is... Whatever comes out, right? Nothing we can do about it. We'll pull the wires through. It'll be okay. Yeah, you can tell that this side is the side that's not stuck because it's sliding through the bearing. Not easily, but... Okay, so what we need to do is we need to put a little bit of oil on this thing to help it. Okay. Drink up, buddy. Alrighty. I wonder if that's the bearing retainer that's making that
I was
scrape.
gonna say something does not sound good.
Well, it's
Probably
moving.
just rust on the
No,
shaft.
it's
on
moving.
the stator.
What I don't want to do is I don't want to rip that bearing retainer out because it's like a one-way spring, as you know. All right, so it's probably time to get the heat gun out. Yeah, that feels like it's... Okay, well, it is what it is, right?
Or do you want to try tapping on the shaft just to push the back out?
No, you know what that's going to do? That's going to push the... that might push the bearing retainer.
You think it's stuck on the front bearing retainer?
Ooh.
Just moved.
Okay, so that's good. No heat gun required. So that...
Huh. Maybe we should put it back together and just start polishing up the shafts real good. Obviously, we got to take it off to re-oil the bearings, but it might be a good stopping point.
I don't see the bearings spinning, so that's good.
I don't think it would spin that freely if it was spinning inside the bearings. Or rather, if the bearing was spinning inside the holder.
It is the outside. Yeah, you can hear that bearing sounds really rough.
That just sounds dry to me. I bet just a very thin layer of rust formed in there and just locked it up.
It's quieting down quite a bit.
Yeah. That'll run again.
Question is, can I... You know what you could do is you could get the drill and we could just put the drill on one side, right?
Oh, you just spin.
Yeah. Right? Because that's kind of the same effect as the motor.
Yeah, that would work. We can do that. I like to get it perfectly clean before you slide the bearing over.
Yeah, as clean as you can, right? I was just thinking before you stepped out, or while you stepped out, this is the most stuck motor I've ever encountered. I've never had a motor where I couldn't turn it with pliers.
But that did get pretty easy.
Yeah. This is why I'm glad that we worked on this together. We bounced ideas off of each other, because I might have screwed something up if I did this by myself. And if it's broken, right? But at least the extent of which it's broken, you might be able to still save it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my semi-chrome paste, and I'm going to polish up the shaft with that. But
you don't want to just use sandpaper?
We already did use sandpaper on it. Let's see what the semi-chrome does.
Okay.
And I don't want to
find that the sandpaper at a high speed usually takes all of it off.
Let me just wash my hands so I don't get, dirt all over your drill.
What is that called?
Semi-chrome. You could get this on the Jungle website. I bought this at a... What's that?
Unethical.
Yeah. I bought this at a flea market in Kentucky, so... You don't really need much.
Looks like
toothpaste.
Yeah.
This is really, really good stuff, though. Okay, it's nice and slow.
You want to put it on the other side?
Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
Right.
We don't always do things that make sense, though.
Well, we should try.
We should, but that's not a guarantee. Duh. Okay. I usually like to use an old sock rather than a ticker towel.
That's only on number 1.
Okay. You want to get the extra torque anyway.
I'm not sure that's coarse enough. Doesn't look like it's doing much.
I don't know, it looks pretty shiny. See that?
See, I mean, I guess it's probably smooth enough, but I like to see nothing cosmetically on there.
And that's fine. We can keep sanding it. It's really up to you. I use this on the bearing surfaces of the shaft.
See, I would use that after I go through with the sandpaper as like a finisher.
Okay, so what we'll do then, I guess we'll go over it with the sandpaper then.
Is that piece good? We can get a new piece.
Well, we could. I can't believe how easily this thing loosened up. I really hope that the bearing isn't spinning, because if it was, we would see it.
I think you'd notice it, because that's spinning too freely to be the bearing inside the housing.
This is so satisfying to me to unstick a motor. I don't know why, but it's like there's something so pleasant about doing that. Like, this thing was locked up solid.
Well, I've always liked the idea of taking something that most people would just throw out and then making it work again.
I mean, for all practical purposes, this was thrown out. Because anybody who bought this at Savers would have thrown it in the garbage.
It was donated to Savers just as a way to get rid of it, most likely.
Probably. Because even mine, the fan was stuck. It unstuck very easily, but it did need a lot of work.
Yeah, I wouldn't have run it.
Yeah, well, that's why, after talking to you, I took it apart and I oiled it up and polished the shaft and everything. I don't like to have it just abruptly come to a stop. I guess I'll run it a little faster.
I would go full speed. Whatever the speed of the motor is. I think that we probably need a new piece of sandpaper.
Maybe. I'm going to just use little pieces at a time, though. It either comes out too much or not, nothing at all. The 3M sandpaper is a little bit better for this because you can use it wet. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's looking better now.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get it much better than that.
Yeah, it should be good enough. What about the real tip here? Is that
well,
any nicks on there?
Let me try to see if I can get that a little bit better. Not much to grab onto, that's the problem. Where the shaft necks down, it makes it a little bit harder to polish it. And I bet you what we're going to find is that one bearing is totally dry.
Probably. Both might be.
That may very well be the case. Well, it's not beautiful, but...
If it's good enough, it's good enough.
Alright, and we'll flip it around and do the other side. I would really love to test this out before I leave.
I don't see why I wouldn't be able to. It's still 68 degrees.
Gotta wash this stuff.
Well, we just run it outside. Well, how low does the thermostat go on that thing?
66.
We got 2 more degrees.
Well, we could put it under a light or something. Remember, that's what we did back in the spring?
Yeah, we can put the thermostat into something.
100-watt bulb, it'll run forever.
Yep. Incandescent, not stupid DEO.
Well, if you have a 100-watt LED bulb, you'll probably go blind.
With how poorly made the DEO bulbs are today, you'll probably get hot enough. That doesn't look like it's under straight, is it?
It isn't. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to... There we go. Pain in the butt. Now we're getting oil on the chuck here.
Well, we can wash that off too. I think it's even worse than it was before.
Well, this side doesn't really need much help.
That's true.
I'm sure this is really good for the bearings for it to shake like this, too.
Well, with how bad half the plastic blades are, probably like normal operation.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Stupid blades are a joke.
That's sounding pretty dry now.
Yeah. But it definitely sounds like metal on metal in the bearings and not, you know, something spinning.
Yeah, that's not the bearing spinning in the spring.
That's the bearing itself.
All right, let's try this again. This, ugh. This wooden screwdriver was a lifesaver. We wouldn't have been able to do it without that. I couldn't have done that if I tried. I hope you got that on film.
Yeah, as long as it was in the view.
Ugh. This is really frustrating to try to pull the stator off. Come on. Gosh. Might have to oil the stator laminations.
Maybe just at the bottom where it's all rusted.
Come on. Whoop, I think we're making some progress now. I really didn't want the wire side to be the side that comes apart, but...
I wouldn't either. It makes me nervous they're going to break off.
It is what it is. And I know that it's laced up pretty well in there, so...
That's not a fun repair when those come off.
Of course, I have lacing cord at home, but that doesn't do us any good here.
I suppose as long as we get one side off, that should be good enough.
This really makes me nervous.
I hate this.
I do too. Wow, look at all the rust in this thing. Wait till you see this.
I'm surprised it's that bad.
Wow, that is dry. See that? Look at that. Wow.
For what it's worth, the windings themselves look pretty decent still. And there's the thermal switch. So it probably has been sitting, it potentially could have overheated multiple times.
That's a switch, not a fuse.
That definitely is a
You can tell the
resetting
difference.
switch, yeah.
Oh, that's nice when it has that.
Yeah.
And it's, even if it wasn't, it's super easy to get to.
Mm. Yeah, that definitely looks like a switch to me.
Yeah,
The fuses are usually real small.
you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to
That
oil.
just sounds terrible.
Well, it's going to get much better soon.
That's true.
Look at the rotor's all
Wow.
rusty. Put a little bit more oil on there. Okay.
Yeah, those windings are bound up pretty good. Definitely better than usual. I would sand them more. Again, scoring the bearing surface. Can you tell what part it's getting stuck on?
Yeah, it's near the end. I didn't go this far to screw it up, right? I can't believe how rusty this thing is. That is nuts.
The one you had is not like that?
It was rusty, but it wasn't this rusty.
This is way more than I would have expected in there.
There's, like, water got on that rotor.
I would not have expected it to be like that.
But the windings and the laminations are pretty much okay, which is kind of weird.
Maybe the what's that stuff called in there? The lacquer has just kept it preserved,
It may be.
or the varnish, whatever it is on there.
You could see, like, the last couple laminations started pulling off with the hub, with the housing.
Well, that's kind of normal though.
I guess the 100% correct way to do this would be to put that housing back on again. But look at how dry the felt is. There's nothing in there.
Yeah, that's not good.
The question is, which side is the side that's seized up? I don't even know.
I think it probably was the back.
That would make sense. Which would be this side, right? That was the side that... No, that's the side. That's the
front.
inside side.
So I bet the other side of that thing looks even worse.
Oh, we're about to find out. The only thing I don't like about sandpaper is I'm always worried I'm going to get sand residue in the bearings.
Hmm.
Okay. Try again.
It's about the same.
That one actually looks like it has a little bit of oil in it.
Go figure.
In fact,
Is in better condition.
interesting.
Not have expected that.
So, what I would do is I would take these thrust washers off and clean them with isopropyl alcohol. And I try to put them back in the same order. that they came off in. I don't know if you do
So
that.
I turn them around.
Do you?
Yeah. Because I figure if the wear is happening on one side, it should be like new on the other side. But we don't have to. We could put it back the way it is.
That's just me. I mean, you've done a lot more of these motor repairs than I have. So, so what I would do next is take the thrust washers off, put it in the drill, polish up the bearing surfaces, and then wash those with isopropyl alcohol.
Okay. We got to change the battery out in here anyways.
Okay.
We're down to 16%.
Yeah, okay. Admittedly, Casablanca did have nicer styling than a lot of other manufacturers. I like the Hampton Bay.
If you're into that
Yeah.
type of styling, to me, a lot of the Casablanca fans are ugly, like those stupid the Planetarium series of the Uranus and Saturn. All those to me are ridiculous. But some people love them.
The people who love Casablanca love Casablanca.
Yeah, like those. What's the Venus? I think is that ridiculous. Shiny white one, or I think they came in black too. I don't. I could do without those. The Panamas I like, the Zephyrs, but that's about it. The Victorian is nice.
If I remember correctly, there's an E-washer at the end of this.
E?
Yeah. Or,
Electronic?
yeah. It's an electronic washer.
We're getting there,
Oh.
just given time.
Look how thin this is.
I wonder if it's like that or it's just worn down.
No, I mean, they probably had some measurement they did at the factory, and depending on what the computer spit out, that was what they put on there. Alright, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take apart one side at a time, because that's when you mess things up. You put the wrong number of thrust washers back on.
It's never going to align right.
Okay. E. Backwards. There you go. There's the E. Okay.
Sure you don't want to use the other thing?
What's that?
The lathe?
We can, but I mean, your viewers don't usually have that. I figured the drill, everybody's got one of those.
That's true.
I'll tell you what. We'll do one side with the lathe. We'll do the other side with the drill. How's that sound?
I just feel that it's easier because you don't have to hold it.
Oh, it's objectively the better way to do it. There's no arguing that.
Yeah, obviously that works just the same, but
Until you knock it out of alignment, like, yeah.
you
I
had
had
it right
it.
the first time.
It's really hard to get it to bite down in 3 spots when the shaft has a flat area. Yeah, that's good enough. There we go. Okay. All right, we'll put a little this semi-chrome on the shaftaroni here. You can tell where the bearing surface is. It's right there. And no, I'm not flipping you guys off. It's just the only finger I had free. We don't do things like that on this channel.
No, we'll get canceled.
But the bots,
They're safe. They get a free pass. That's coming out nice.
I can't even see. Oh wow, look at that.
Boy, better than new. Can you feel any wear on the surface?
No, nothing that see for yourself. You can feel the tiniest bit of something.
Nothing that I would write home about.
Yeah. Given what it was subjected to, that's actually quite
It's
remarkable.
not like a McGraw Edison motor where you can literally see the part where it sits in the bearing.
Oh boy. All Alright, so what we'll do is, so that I don't mix this up, I guess we'll clean the thrust washers with this Apristal. I guess if you wanted to, you could use brake cleaner, but these plastic washers might melt.
I wouldn't use brake cleaner on something plastic.
You could use brake cleaner on the motor shaft and in the bearings if you wanted to.
Even with the felt around the bearings?
Well, if there's tar in the felt, you might not have a choice.
Mm.
I'm amazed how dirty these things are.
Oh, look at the condition of the stinking motor.
The number of people who can fix this and would fix this are almost non-existent.
Yeah, I was just thinking, you're worried about showing tools that everybody can use, but no one's going to do this.
Hey, you never know when somebody's going to type this model number into Google and this video will show up.
Yeah, I feel like whoever would do this is probably going to have every tool in the world.
This was such a great unit. I am so glad that you cajoled me into going back for these things. If it wasn't a good unit, I wouldn't be standing here taking this stupid motor apart to fix it. I would have said, you know what? Recover the gas and cancel the rest of the unit out. But after hearing that Matsushita and seeing what the temperature regulation is, it's worth the effort.
Definitely.
100%.
And it should run for a long time after this is done.
Honestly, considering it survived a trip out the window, this will probably run another 20 years.
Do you think that we could tap oil ports in there, or is it not worth it because of the moisture outside?
I would prefer not to mess with that. What I did when I put the other one back together was I put some grease in here so it would slide in and out a little bit more easily, and it would repel moisture.
Although I suppose that once you put the drain hole in, the rust and everything should really calm down, at least not get any worse. This is probably this bad because there's water sitting in there for the last 2 decades.
Well, that, and also there's a very good probability that this was near the shore, near salt air. You're not anywhere near the shore.
Yeah, I'm not used to what kind of decay that causes.
Yeah, that's why it's so nice, like, when Russ or Kenny donate a unit to me, it's like, the coils are just dirty. Like, there's no rust on them at all. The base pan's another story sometimes.
That Whirlpool that Ken gave me is pretty bad. That thing's like carrier level almost.
But to be fair, that could have been like under a tree and it just got wet and never dried.
I saw the original install. I have pictures of it.
Oh, do you?
And the building, well, the machine, it's weird because the top of the case is all like rusted, like something was dripping on it. And I asked him if it was set up such that like something could drip on it, and he said, "Oh, they all look like that around there."
Interesting.
I don't know how that could possibly be, unless I misunderstood what he was saying or he misunderstood what I was asking.
It's also possible.
That's a possibility too.
Now, when you put these thrust washers back on, do you oil both sides of them or just one?
I oil the whole thing. I put oil everywhere.
I do too. I just didn't know.
I hate that sound.
Me too.
That is such an ugly, repulsive, annoying sound.
I forget what kind of bird that is. I see them in my yard. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shut up.
What an ugly sound.
Hey, it's better than those screaming owls that you've had.
That's true. That I listen to all day as opposed to those stupid owls.
The worst is when you hear that at 4:30 in the morning, though.
See, I'll sleep through that. It only bothers me during the day.
See, a mosquito can fly past my ear and that'll wake me up. I am the
That's
lightest.
how my mother is.
Oh, really? Here it is. Okay.
Do you have a preference to Zoom spout versus the blue can, specifically 3-in-1?
To be fair, whatever I pick up first is usually what I use.
Because that conversation came up recently with some other people, and what we concluded was that the Zoom spout is probably better because this is SAE 20, and it even says on there specifically it's only for 1/4 horsepower and larger motors. So this is really kind of a thicker oil, whereas the Zoom spout is much thinner.
I've used both. Like, I think in the Cool Operator Juniors I've used that, but I think for like these, I want to say that I've used the Zoom spout, but I honestly don't know.
I have used both, and I can tell there's a difference.
Really?
I just can't quite pinpoint. It almost like seems to vary motor to motor. You know, maybe the larger shaft size is better with the other one. I don't know. But I've been finding I use the Zoom spout more often.
So here, let me throw another wrench in the gears here. Which brand of Zoom spout? Because there's like 5 different brands that show Zoom spout.
Well, case in point, I have Subco and I have Blue Lake products right here.
I have another brand. I think mine might also be Blue Lake, actually.
I think Subco is a pretty reasonable,
Yeah, they're
brand. I would buy it from there again.
Actually, no. Mine's Norvay.
I have. Oh, sorry. I have no idea what that is.
Well, that's what my Ace Hardware had. So
It's getting difficult to find the Blue Can 3-in-1.
is it really?
A lot of stores aren't selling it anymore.
I really don't want to get it from the Jungle website.
The grocery store only has the black can.
Yeah, don't ever
is,
put that in a motor.
This is only for bikes, power saws, rollerblades,
Not lawnmowers.
hedge cutters, and wrench and bolts.
But not lawnmowers.
No, it doesn't say lawnmower on there. Whereas this one is good for...
Nail guns?
What the heck is that? What is that?
That's a nail gun.
No, the first thing.
That's a motor.
That's a motor?
Kind of looks like a spatula with the handle missing.
So it's good for cooking. Screw and nail guns, V-ends, and lawnmowers. Now, why you would put this in the lawnmower but not the other one, I don't know.
I think we had this conversation every time I'm in a video with you. And we
You know what? There's probably no difference between the two things.
No, that 3-in-1 in the black can is bad for motors. I learned that lesson the hard way.
No, I agree, because I have put that in some of the fans when I first started out, and now I notice that those fans are always they're gummed up.
I think that I used that to fix a tape deck capstan motor bearing, and I think that that's why that motor needs to be kick-started after sitting for a while.
Yeah, I find that initially it's sticky, and then it will free up over some operation.
All right, so you want to put this in the lathe?
Yeah, we can do that.
I want to see what this lathe looks like. I don't even know where you have
It's
it.
very old.
That means it's probably very good quality.
Yeah,
then.
it's a belt drive.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty cool.
Probably got a lot of torque, too. Okay. So we'll chuck it up and see what we get.
I have never broken one of those clips before.
I think I've broken every single one on the condenser fan I've ever had.
Maybe you're not doing something right.
Or maybe it's because there's salt water near me.
Well, maybe you should cancel out some of the salt water.
If I could, I would. And I would make a ton of money because the Navy would want me real bad.
I haven't used this in a while. I forget. I think there's a bolt under here that comes off.
I think if you loosen that up, it'll probably just twist right out of the
up
way.
and down. Oh, we could just do that.
Cancel it out that way. Okay. Yeah, it'll make it, but just barely. He's a little stiff.
Yeah, it probably needs a good once over in terms of service. I don't know when the last time this was used regularly.
It doesn't look like it was used much at all, ever. Yeah, this is going to be a little tough. Where's the chuck key?
It's on the table. It's back on the table.
I don't like this spring-loaded mechanism here. Yeah, that should probably work okay.
So this is 3-speed.
Yeah, this is not gonna spin true, but we'll just have to be careful.
Oh, it's not centered? Well, I assume we'll just use low. Is that oil gonna fling everywhere? Because I would prefer it not get all over the computer and the table and everything. Maybe we just put a ticker towel on the top of there.
We could do that. First thing, we have to put it on low speed, because right now it's on high speed. If I remember correctly, you have to do this. A little bit of trickery.
Yeah, it should be low to the larger one.
There we go.
Hey, that belt's still in good shape?
Yeah, it's got a bit of a flat spot on it, but it'll
Yeah,
loosen
well,
up.
it's been sitting for some time.
Okay. Wrap it around it or something.
Yeah, we'll just do this.
Yeah, that'll
so
work.
that oil does not go everywhere.
Use a twist tie or something. Rubber band.
I think a twist tie would have been a lot better. That's stupid.
It's a lovely sculpture.
Actually, couldn't this in theory be 9-speed?
How so?
Because you have 3 different options here and 3 different options here.
No, it has to be like the
tension.
length is
I
the
see.
circumference is the same in every spot. That would be nice.
Stupid physics.
You know, I really hate it when people pay the physics bill. Okay.
Might as well put it at the kilowatt meter and see how much power it draws.
Probably not much. The heck?
I think it pulls out.
Here, I'll let you break it. Oh, it's missing a key. There's probably something that goes in there.
What? I forget how this works. I don't think that has anything to do with it. Is this busted?
No, I think there's another piece that goes in there that allows it to actually
Oh,
to
this
switch.
is a problem.
Yeah, I know. You have a small common screwdriver. I think I can. You have to put like a screwdriver up there, and then.
Oh,
you
I
can...
see. It's got to push.
Yeah. So if we cheat, we put a common.
What about this?
That might work. No. I'll just get the screwdriver.
I'll try to make it work while you get the screwdriver.
But in the meantime, I'm going to get the screwdriver.
All right.
You know, if we just used a handheld drill, we would have been done.
You wanted to use it. I didn't know that this was semi-busted. I'll have to get that fixed.
If I recall, there's a little yellow key that goes in there. Which maybe your neighbor purposely didn't give you to be funny or something.
No, I doubt it. You think that that's doing it?
Yeah. Okay, let's try again.
I'll have to ask him if he it probably just slipped out over the years.
That's really smooth though, this motor.
Yeah, it's a good machine.
It's shaking like crazy though. Now, this should still. Yeah. Okay. So we. Okay. Is the motor trying to tell me something here?
Probably could have even run it faster than that.
I also didn't really tighten this up at all anyway.
Maybe you should tighten up a little bit.
Well, I don't want to chew up the shaft. Okay.
It's only taking 1.82 the amps.
It's power factor.
0.63. It's got to be shaded.
Wow.
Oh, it's got a capacitor. I'm surprised it says low.
Probably because it's not under any load.
That could be. Or the capacitor is spoiled.
Yeah, you see how?
Yeah, it's going up as you were doing that.
Yeah. This is really hard to chuck. This. Just be ready to yank that out in case this gets caught on my hand or something. This is why I like the handheld a little bit better.
Well, if I was doing this, I wouldn't be putting my hand inside a socket and wrapping my hand in the socket around the shaft.
Well, unfortunately, there's really no way to...
I would just use a piece of sandpaper. Well, this is getting a much nicer finish.
That looks really nice.
Probably clean up nicer than it did when it was new.
Yeah, that's very well possible.
I don't think it was shined up like that at the factory.
I don't feel any ridge on that at all. And that was the bad side.
Yeah, that's real good now.
Yeah, see, that's the side where that seal goes that
Yep.
wasn't sealing anything.
Which we all know served no purpose.
Or maybe it did. Maybe it would have, locked up 10 years earlier.
Maybe
I don't know.
It would have been a lot worse.
I had a lot of strikes against it, that's for sure. All right, I think we're ready to oil the motor and put it back together.
All right.
I'm really anxious to test this unit out, though.
I'm really anxious to eat those donuts.
You getting hangry again? All right. Okay.
I guess we can take this stupid apparatus off of there now.
Oh, I think it's kind of decorative. I was going to leave it.
Oh, you was going to leave it on
I was
there?
going to put a motor back together that way. Yeah. Nice. Oh, no! All the thrust washers came off with that.
Oh, that's why it was so difficult to get off. Oh, fortunately, you can just slip them all right back on.
Oh, boy. I should have taken them off that way originally. I didn't even think of that. Oh, jeez. I got to oil them all up again. That's okay. Is it me or is there one missing?
That's you. Can't you compare it to the ones we have on the bench?
Nope, because it's
Oh, they're not
based
the
on the
same?
tolerance of the... all right, 1, 2, 3, 4. I remember there being 4 of them. So, yeah, that's nice. That's a nice finish. This side's even better.
Wow. That definitely is better than it looked when it was new.
Yeah, I think that's very likely. This semi-chrome is good stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get some of that.
It's not that expensive. That tube is like 10 or 12 bucks.
Well, it seems like it would last a long time, too.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't take much.
It's made in Germany.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. Really, really good quality. Now, do I recommend you put it in a sock and put it in a drill press? No, it's not really a safe idea, but the results speak for themselves, though.
I would just take a a cloth and hold it like that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
I mean,
would've done.
the problem. I mean, this is a good ticker towel. The ones that I have at home would just shred apart.
Yeah, well, I have these.
Yeah,
They're
those
called,
are the good stuff.
Professional white rags that work like cloth.
Yeah, those are very good. But they'll rip if it gets caught in the drill.
Right. Well, that's better than
No, the sock.
ripping a part of your hand off.
Yeah, this probably doesn't have enough torque to do it, but
I think the belt would slip before anything
Yeah.
really bad happened. And only a 1/3 horsepower.
well, yeah, I'm not gonna show your viewers anything stupid.
Let's do something stupid on video.
Our friend Mike would enjoy that. I'm not gonna say his last name for confidentiality purposes, but Mike, you know who you are. And I'll unplug your refrigerator. I guess if you know, you know.
If you don't know, oh well.
It won't mean anything to you.
It's got some weight to it.
It does. It's probably like 30 or 40 pounds. Can you move the mailbox? The bird
I got a
box?
over here anyways.
Well, I don't want to come over here, take a bunch of stuff out and leave it. That's bad manners.
That's what oops, I see it on video.
Yes.
Well, sometimes you have to do hard things.
I don't want to.
We did this. It's getting cold in here. I gotta shut these windows.
Okay. Well, it's about to get colder once we put this unit back together.
We're not putting that on in here.
I wouldn't suggest that, no.
This fan's in really good condition. Oh, it was.
It was.
At least the bearing's still going.
Wow. And that was on low.
Yeah.
That's quite remarkable.
That's just a cheesy taped piece of junk. That's not even a real good one.
Those were cheap when they were new.
Yeah, that was was that a store brand or just a generic cheapo
No,
brand?
it was just a cheapo fan. Ugh. This is disgusting.
The plastic it was made out of is very poor quality. It's very, powdery almost now from the sun.
Yeah, that's what happened to those Breezin fans that I've had. Those use really crap. Those are crap when they were new, though.
Well, arguably, so was this.
That's true. Yeah, but the Breezin was really crappy.
Well, it's a different era of garbage.
And they're wonderful compared to what you get now.
That's sad.
Except for the 2002. The 2002 is respectable. And actually, so is that Cyclone fan that you got, too. The one that looks like it's never been used, but the cord was cut off.
Which one?
The Cyclone pedestal that you have outside.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, those are respectable, I agree.
Maybe I'm being a little harsh. Maybe there's more good stuff these days than I give credit for.
You know what is good is there's a brand called X Power. I think I showed you that one I have in the garage.
Yes.
One. They make quite a few different fans now. And I know somebody else who has tried a bunch of them, and they're all very good. Ball bearings, pretty low power draw, very powerful. Of course, they don't make residential fans, but in the commercial category.
Oh, so they don't make like a little 12-inch tabletop oscillating fan or
just,
something?
Just commercial grade stuff, garage blowers, shop blowers, stuff like that. But I guess Wuzu would be the go-to brand for quality residential stuff.
I would agree with that. I am really excited to try this thing out.
Well, hopefully next summer, and I'm not playing with the house as much, I'll be able to get through a lot of these machines. I have so many that I want to use.
I'm genuinely curious what you think of this one. I'm wondering if it'll...
I'm so unimpressed by it right now, but it may change once we use it.
I'm wondering if it'll live up to my hype or if it'll just not really be your cup of tea.
Yeah, I think I'll never notice the temperature regulation because most of the time I always have the doors open. I just run it continuous because I use them more to take humidity out than to actually lower the temperature.
This will do well. I mean,
I would imagine, which I would think it would do very well given the size of the coil.
yeah, it's 5 rows thick, which I think we probably have to get in the video a little bit later after we put it back together. But it does dehumidify quite well, and it cycles on and off very often, which kind of tells you how good it regulates the temperature.
Yeah. Well, that's like the living room carrier. That will turn on and off within half a degree or a degree.
Yeah.
The only reason why I was disappointed by it was it seemed like the airflow was very limited. But maybe it's one of those machines that works more off of lower temperature than more airflow.
Yeah, so Jordan and I had a sidebar about this the other day, and I think part of the reason why the airflow is so minuscule in this unit, considering it's spinning at 1350, which is pretty fast, is because the condenser... Why do I always call it that?
What the condenser have to do with it?
I think it's because the evaporator coil is 5 rows thick. So it really struggles, I think, to pull the air through that coil.
Yeah, that's a thick coil. That's actually really impressive. I mean, there are not a lot of units that have that much thickness to it.
Especially in a chassis that small.
Even on like a big, high-capacity machine, I think 6 is as much as we've ever seen.
Yeah, I'd be curious what Dave has seen. Because Dave has like every unit that pretty much exists, so...
Well, he's got that huge, I forget what the branding was, but that 36,000, and even that was only 5 rows thick.
I know which unit you're talking about. That's the one that he came to Queens to get, or Richmond Hill in Queens. Electro Comfort or something. Comfort Air, is that what it is?
It might have Comfort something, I think. It was a brand that I wasn't particularly
Comfort Air.
familiar with.
When I was in 8th grade, a kid I went to school with, there was one of those in the dining room of the house, but the compressor was dead. Probably because like one of the terminals had burnt off or something.
How big was the dining room?
Was that?
How big was the dining room?
Well, the house was laid out such that there were huge entrances between rooms, so it probably cooled most of the first floor of the house. But it also was like, this thing was probably a 15K. It wasn't a 36K.
Okay. That's what I was wondering this year. Like I noticed this year a whole bunch of these huge capacity units surface. I'm just wondering where everyone's going to be using these things. I know Russ has no space for something that big.
No, not even in his garage, because he's got the two, the weather wheel and, I forget what the other one is.
But the garage is only a single bay. You wouldn't put that in there anyways.
Yeah. Even before the garage.
Insulated.
Yeah, even before it was insulated, it probably wouldn't have needed that. I'm not paying attention to what order, which way they were facing.
I don't think that really matters.
Probably not.
If anything, I tend to think that if it was reversed, it might just go back to like if it was original without a lot of wear.
You want to lube it up with WD-40?
No. I got to get a like an old-fashioned can that's not that sprayer.
Good thing I scratched in which side is which, because now I don't remember anymore.
Are they different?
Well, yeah, if you put the rotor in backwards, the motor will go the wrong way.
I thought that was only if you do...
Yeah,
I guess that makes sense, because the state... I know if you reverse the stator, it would go different, but I guess that makes sense to either one.
Yeah, that's the problem. So it's a good thing I put that...
Stupid physics again.
Yeah. Magnetic physics. Who likes that anyway?
I hate magnets. What would we do without magnets? Nothing would work.
There'd be no air conditioners or fans. Oh,
wouldn't be much of anything.
What would we play with?
Sticks and rocks.
I mean, telephones don't... No, actually, they wouldn't work without magnets either.
Anything with electricity would go on without magnets.
Well, that stinks.
No cars.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have an ignition system.
Yeah, no alternator.
I guess diesel would work, right?
Potentially, because you don't need the spark.
Oh, no, but you still need to fire the fuel injectors.
No, there's no carbureted ones?
I don't think so. I try to clean out the inside or the inner diameter of the bearing with some isopropyl alcohol in case it's got like tar or something in there.
Well, we didn't have it on the roof earlier, so there shouldn't be any tar in there.
Hi, Henry. Okay. That was the easy one to clean. Man, I really don't like monkeying around with these windings like this.
No, that's making me nervous too. But it does seem like you're right. It seems like they're tied down much better than typical.
Yeah, it's laced very nicely.
It really seems like a pretty decent quality motor.
It is. It just doesn't have a seal on it. That's all that was really wrong with it. Other than that, I mean, the winding is done very nicely. The lacing is done very nicely.
Well, here we go again. If the thing had a drain hole and it wasn't full of water, slushing water around and being wet all the time, this likely would not have happened.
What I like about this motor compared to the Kuei Chow motors is that this thing doesn't have that annoying like humming sound on medium. The LGs don't do that. The LGs I think are better motors, but those seem to have had a little bit more bearing failures than the Kuei Chows have. I've never seen one with a failed Kuei Chow, but I have seen...
What OEM is this one?
This is... Now, mind you, I haven't tried to speak Chinese in like 12 years. Hixing.
Isn't Kuei Chow Chinese?
Kuei Chow is also Chinese, but this is a different brand. This is Hixing, which I think was only used in like the last Fetters units.
Too bad it wasn't Matsushita.
Oof.
It wouldn't be having this problem.
No, it would have had a seal in it.
It'd be still running like new if it was a Matsushita.
Well, that's what Sharp used, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Up until recently. I think the Sharps now use kind of... Well, I don't even think Sharp makes...
Sharp still make air conditioner?
I don't think they do, actually.
I don't think so either. Which, you know, the more I think about it, I almost would rather that, right, the companies
Rather
should
than
stop
junk.
as opposed to ruining their reputation and making garbage. It's kind of like Carrier. Carrier stopped the window units before... Like every Carrier window unit was good. They never just made garbage just to stay in the market.
I wonder if their home stuff is still any good. I think it's still U.S. made, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. Carrier and Bryant, which is a division or OEM, something to do with Carrier, they are both somewhat American made. And arguably the best you can get.
Yeah, I mean, some of the parts are probably imported, but,
yeah.
you know, at this point, you get what you get, right?
I would buy a Carrier if I needed a new boiler.
Although that Mitsubishi's quite nice that you have.
But that is almost 20 years old now.
Yeah.
That's a 2008, supposedly.
That was probably made in Thailand or something, if I had to guess, or Indonesia.
It says it somewhere.
I don't think that was Japanese made.
No, I don't think so. I would have noticed that if it said Japanese. Yeah, you're right. Made in Thailand.
Yeah. And Thailand makes pretty good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, this thing has impressed me with the heating performance. I didn't expect much of it, but it worked pretty good.
Alright, so I'm going to oil this up real good.
You're not using the zoom spout correctly. You're supposed to pull the spout out all the way.
I will let you do the honors then.
Well, I'm just saying that's why you're having problems with it.
I'm also not sure how much oil to put in here. I'd rather overdo it than underdo it. Right?
Yeah, the oil can only help with all the rust in there. I think if a little spills out, it's not going to do any damage to anything.
A little bit is probably going to drip out of the bearing cup, but
so be it. That's not going to cause any harm.
well, it's rust prevention, right?
Yeah.
It'll drip in the chassis and do nothing harmful.
And drip out the drain hole. Which we can now drill with that, whatever that cone shape
Oh, that
is.
stepped unibit?
I used that again last time I was doing a streetlight thing, and it went right through a big metal conduit and like it was nothing.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best drills I've ever used.
And it does. I've used it quite a bit, and it doesn't seem like it's getting any duller.
No. Ah, jeez.
So you should have pulled the spout out all the way.
Kind of getting stuck in there because I can't really get a good angle. I mean, I put quite a lot of oil in there. It's probably okay.
And knowing how I use the machines, it's probably going to see 20 or 30 days of use a year. I don't think we're going to go through all that much oil.
I bet you if you put this in your bedroom, well, the fan's kind of loud. You probably don't want to do that.
I think it's too strong for the bedroom.
Well, you'd have to leave the door open and probably do the whole house.
But even with the 5K, it still was a little bit too much.
Interesting.
I was hoping to get to the carry cools this year, because I feel like those little 4Ks would be perfect for the smaller runs. But I didn't get to them.
And they hardly move any air, so that kind of works in your favor too.
Yeah, I've heard the dehumidification is fantastic on those.
Yeah, the dehumidification is excellent. Those are great units. They really they just don't die.
Yeah.
Like, they are the closest to indestructible you can have.
You know what? They're plastic, but the plastic is used correctly, so you don't have the rust issue. I think those had drain holes too.
That may very well be the case. I don't recall.
I'm fairly certain that they do come with factory drain holes.
It's kind of weird given that they're plastic.
Well, there's no slinger in them, I guess, so there's no reason to keep the water in there.
So I put an extra generous helping of oil on this shaft.
It's about to put it on you. It just put it on you.
I didn't want to get that on my watch.
What time is it?
Oil o'clock. Actually, it's 10 to 6. We still have plenty of time to get this thing back together before I leave.
It's almost time to put the streetlights on.
Come on. What the heck?
Is it sticking on the rust, just on the...
Oh, it's the...
We should have sanded that down before.
No, the rotor's touching the stator.
Yeah, we should have sanded it down because of all the rust on there. But I guess that probably will wear down.
That'll fix
I
itself.
wouldn't worry about that.
Maybe the bearings weren't stuck. Maybe that's what it was.
It could have been. It could have been stuck like that. It's quiet now.
And the bearing's not even close to centered right now either. I put a lot of oil in there, so I don't think it really needs any more. Okay. This is the side that scares me, though.
Yeah, that's actually done really, really securely.
Yeah, they tied that.
I'm impressed by that. I don't feel so bad about that anymore.
This is mostly a good motor. It's just not sealed. Speaking of which, before I do that...
Can we get a new seal for it that might work better?
It doesn't have one at all. That's the problem. I mean, like a seal in here. What the LG motors did was they actually put an O-ring between the bearing and the shaft on the outside, and that seemed to work pretty good.
We could probably get like some kind of gasket liquid to put on around there.
The problem with doing that, I thought of that too, like that 3145 RTV would work, but the problem with that is you'll never get this apart. That'll just stick to...
Or maybe just a ring of hot glue or something, because hot glue would... actually, it might melt if it gets hot enough.
Okay, so... This has a pretty generous helping of that. I just want to clean this out.
What are you cleaning?
The inside surface of this. Ugh, that's disgusting. I have no problem working with my hands, but getting them dirty just bugs me.
It doesn't faze me at all.
And the reason it bugs me is because, like, I never seem to get my thumbs, like, in there. I never seem to get that clean for, like, days.
Well, my hands aren't clean. They're full of tar now. It's just the way it is. The only thing I really hate is when tools get slimy. I hate slimy tools.
Oh, like sticky and...
Oh, like oil. Like oil gets on the wrenches and stuff and they're all slick. I hate that.
Yeah, I try to, like, wipe my tools off after every time I use them for that reason.
That's the only thing that bothers me.
Yeah, there may be a little bit of oil on these screwdrivers.
That's going to annoy me.
Well, we'll clean them with isoprisol, right?
At least they won't rust. Wow, it's already 60 degrees out.
Well,
that dropped quick.
It is the middle of October.
That's true. This was unseasonably warm. We had a high of 75 today.
Beautiful day.
37 at night. Almost freezing.
What was it, 37?
37 last night.
Really? Wow.
And tomorrow, or I think Tuesday, is supposed to be 76. That's got to be record-breaking temperatures.
Could be, yeah.
I wonder if something like for that you could use the black can.
Maybe. Okay, so I put a mark on here to line these up. I think that
It would kind of have to be somewhere like there because the way the leads come out.
Yeah.
That went together much easier.
Well, imagine that, right? Now, this thing is stuck, but that's normal.
Yeah.
We'll get that, right? I just don't like having this oil all over my hands because then, like you said, it gets all over the tools.
Yep.
Wipe off the excess oil.
Wipe off the excess rust. No bigger ones?
It's okay.
I got those gigantic ones from
house.
that house.
I got a pair of those too. They're really nice.
You know, I've had a couple situations come up where I wish I had that vise.
I hear you.
I could always call that letter and see if he can grab it. I don't know if he's still going over there or not. Did that line it up?
It's close. It still needs to be whacked a little bit, but it's mostly in place. Now, this is where I generally am a weenie about this, and I try to torque these all to the same value. But,
Yeah, I do as well.
But I don't have a torque screwdriver with me, unfortunately.
I think just a guess by hand is probably good enough. Because it's not really going to affect the alignment of the bearings once you strike the shaft anyways.
Well, in this case, it's a little bit bent. That's the problem.
Well, it is what it is.
It's not what it should be. Probably never will be. I'm going to
No,
go wash my hands before I get my
It
tools
definitely
over.
never will be. You think that the styrofoam would...
You'd have to do a cold wash. You
Yeah,
wouldn't want to
so
do like a heated...
I disconnected the heating element from that one because I didn't want to put plastic stuff in there with that much
yeah,
heat.
you'll never get that probably cleaner than if you put it in the dishwasher. We use what is basically a dishwasher to wash circuit boards at my job. You know, we use special chemicals to wash the boards, and we bake them after we're done.
Delicious.
Yeah, they don't really taste that good, but I mean, people for a long time have been washing circuit boards in their dishwashers, as long as their wives or mothers or...
Yeah, I've heard of doing that before. Keyboard still was another one.
I can't even hear that, Cameron.
And it's pushing good air still, too.
That's
like a really decent amount.
I think the only Cameron I like more than that is the blue one.
I'd definitely like to find the one that was at the apple cider mill. I don't know what finish. It's like a dark, like speckled black finish.
That sounds really attractive.
Didn't you see it when we were there?
No, I didn't even look.
Come on.
I was too busy looking at the cookies and the
kidding.
cider donuts. I didn't say it was okay. I just...
So you're sitting there in line and the fans are running. You're looking at cookies?
I know, I'm sorry.
I even told you about it before we went in.
Jeez, man. You have to throw me out of the community. What kind of fan enthusiast am I? There's a lot of oil in this motor.
Well, that's good. I don't want to be opening that thing up anytime soon.
Oh, it'll come apart a lot easier the next time.
That's true.
Yeah, for a Chinese-made motor that was probably very inexpensively manufactured, this isn't half bad.
Well, I think there's a lot to be said about the quality of even the cheapest stuff just 20 years ago. It was a lot better than it is now.
This was the end of the line for Fetters. These were the last good units that they made. In fact, I think they were the last units that they actually manufactured before they just sold their name out to somebody. And so too went the quality of anything.
Yep.
Like this was actually manufactured in the USA, which is kind of cool.
I wonder when those other ones are from that I have. Those seem like they're pretty decent quality too, aside from being very loud.
Oh, the Maytags?
Yeah.
I think those are also from like 2002.
I think they're definitely 2000 era, but I'm not sure how early.
Almost.
Liquid spill.
Okay, that's like 2 fingers tight. Okay. This thing is probably going to be stiff as a board. Tip of the screwdriver shot.
What's wrong with the screwdriver?
The tip is worn out. It doesn't really grab it that great.
Yeah, the screwdriver's been around for a long time. Can you sharpen those?
No, they're usually when they're gone, they're gone. That's why it's so important to always use the right size. A lot of times people will use like a number 1 screwdriver and a number 2 screw and a number 2 and a number 3.
That one is a number 2, and that one is pretty good.
Okay, that's probably good enough. Actually, that's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
A little noisy.
Wow, look at that thing glide. That's pretty good.
Just a little noisy, though.
That doesn't surprise me. It might go away as it heats up and cools down during operation.
A little bit extra oil in there. Yeah, that's...
I wonder if that's the thrust washers.
Could be.
I don't think you'll hear it though, being on the outside.
Not with the fan blades on there. Yeah, it's quieting down now. It's getting quieter, you hear that? It'll find its way.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Look at that.
That's unbelievable. And I've always found that when the motors lock up, they tend to get better. Either they're better afterwards or they're totally dysfunctional afterwards. Does that sound copyright?
I hope not.
Yeah, let's give it some run time. It'll get a lot better. And that's almost like ball bearing level.
Look at that. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's really
something
good.
that you couldn't move with pliers before. I don't know, Jordan. I mean, it's very possible that what happened is that the rotor got stuck to the stator.
I think that's a possibility too. There's a lot of rust in here.
Given how easily it turned after we kind of went,
Yeah.
which, you know, in retrospect, I wish I had done that first, just going dook, dook, and it probably would have unstuck the thing.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's put it back together and try it out.
All right. We'll have to run it inside the garage. It could be too cold out now.
We'll probably have
But
to
that's fine.
put an incandescent bulb over the thermocouple too.
Yeah, or I
Speaking
could
of
put the
which-
heat on in there.
Where is the thermocouple anyway?
Does it not have
You know what? I
like
think we
a-
stuffed it inside of this. Yeah, we'll find it. That's okay. That's not a big deal. All right, so
we can always come back in and clean this up while it's running too.
you want to do that?
Might as well to get the hours on it.
Yeah, I'm not leaving until we try this out. Hold on.
We gotta get the tripod kick in there.
There we go. It's like ceremonial at this point, right?
Yep. It's probably in at least half the videos.
Makes them funnier, though. Yeah, that is wonderful.
That noise is almost completely gone now.
Yeah, it's getting much quieter now. This is the part that I hate.
If that's junk, you can just slip it inside that bag, and then we can cancel the whole thing out.
Okay, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out how to not kick the tripod. I wonder if anybody's still watching.
You'd be surprised. Some people do watch all the way through.
Well, we got a lot done, that's for sure.
Yeah. I hate that thing. That's such a useless, stupid feature.
It is. How much air is going to go through that?
The exhaust like 0.5 CFM.
Well, that Friedrich chill that you have, it's like half an inch by half an inch.
Yeah, a lot of them are like that.
That's literally useless. Like this at least is, maybe 3 square inches or something. That's nothing.
I don't understand why these manufacturers wasted the R&D time on putting those into every single unit.
It doesn't matter. There's no way that makes any difference.
But that piece costs a couple cents to make.
I know, and it's a waste of money.
So why would anybody do it?
It's a gimmick, I guess. It's like my competitor does it, so I have to do it too. The Maytags don't have that though, right?
I'm not sure. We'll have to check. I know one of them is on the top because I was going to use it but didn't get to it.
Those aren't bad units, but they are loud. That's the only problem.
Is it loud on the inside too? Because I never tested them on a window before.
Yeah, they are a little noisy inside.
That was another one I got pretty earlier on too.
And one of them I think was never used.
Yeah, very low hours. The one I got on the curb was very low hours.
I can't imagine somebody throwing away something that's perfectly good. Like this thing I can understand ending up in the trash. Like that makes sense, but...
Well, I mean, you can clearly see the controls look old. It's old, it's outdated. Throw it out, buy a new one. How many people buy into that efficiency gimmick? Although even those, I mean, those are about as efficient as they ever got.
This one is exceptionally
What's
efficient.
This one?
10.8.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really get much more than that today.
And that's on a bad day. That's when it's on, 90 degrees in the sun. I bet you this is rated for 7 amps. I bet you the majority of the time it's between 6 and 6.5.
The highest I'm aware of is 12 for a standard unit like this. Normally they're even like 9 or 10 still nowadays.
Yeah, this was a special model. That's why it has Energy Star on the... like if you notice on the front grille.
Mm.
That's really something. And that's with no fan blade on it.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Not bad for a cheap, crappy motor.
No, well, again, 20 years ago, the cheap junk wasn't as bad.
Ain't that the truth? Okay, so... I'm not sure who that was that just messaged me. It's only one of 3 people.
Could have been Russ talking about tapes.
I haven't told him about the Fujis yet.
Oh, I thought you sent him a picture.
No, I sent him a picture of Frankie Goes to Hollywood that I got for 50
cents. It could
cents.
be Russ talking about CDs.
Could be. Well, I know it's not you. At least I don't think that you messaged me while you're standing here without your phone.
That's very important. Without my phone, and I'm still surviving.
Oh no!
That just sits there. Nothing holds that in.
Nope. Nothing needs to. Usually I put a little bit of oil in this too.
Yeah, I like to do that as well. Not WD-40 though.
Makes it a little easier to get it out.
That's actually one thing I do use the black hand for.
Okay, that'll work just fine.
Now, what are we going to do with the outside? Because you busted up the clip.
It's actually fine.
It's so stiff it don't need it.
Yeah, it's not going to... Don't worry about it. It can't go anywhere.
Yeah, I figured it probably doesn't.
Yeah, it can't go anywhere because
it's got slotted,
that,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's slotted. I wonder if I have a hose clamp somewhere. I probably do.
Look at that.
That's exceptional. I really think it's better than it was when it was new.
It's not inconceivable. Let's see how much more oil I can get on my fingers and on my tools.
Well, hold out your hand. I'll show you.
You're gonna dump the whole can on me just to be funny? That seems like a waste.
Use up the rest of the stupid black can because you can't use it for fans.
It doesn't have a picture of a fan on it. You
No.
can't. But seriously though, don't ever use that on a fan.
I don't.
I know you don't, but the viewers might.
Jay does. He's convinced that there's no difference.
JK?
Yeah.
Interesting. This isn't working.
I usually use the 9s for that. Or that probably is the right shape too. Is there a tool that's like specifically for working with those clips?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's time to get it.
I have that at home actually. It's a special like hose clamp plier.
Yeah, I gotta get one because I end up flinging those across the room.
I almost broke my fingernail off before.
Oh, I'm glad the clip is okay.
I actually did break one of my fingernails off at work the other day because I was trying to pop the lid off of something. Like, I don't even remember what it was, but...
Did the lid end up being okay?
The lid was fine.
Well, that's the important part.
Yeah. It wasn't an OSHA injury. It was just incidental. We're getting there. I forget what I use when I do this at home.
Probably the correct tool.
No, I don't. I know I don't use the right tool for it.
But you have the right tool?
But even though I do have the right tool. You said you use these
I
normally?
use those typically.
That worked pretty good. All right.
That's fantastic.
That's excellent. And it's only going to get better the longer it runs, too,
Right.
as the oil goes into the wicks. I gotta wash my hands again. Hold, please. All right. I cannot believe how easy this was. I honestly think the hardest part of this unit was fixing the controls, and even that wasn't bad.
That was easy too.
Maybe the hardest part was getting it out of the store.
The hardest part was getting you to buy the stupid thing. Wasn't this the one that you got yelled at for parking in the wrong spot?
It was. I'm not normally rude to people in retail because it's just, it's just not cool to do that. But I said to the lady, give me a freaking break. I just bought two 80-pound air conditioners.
Didn't she say it after you was already gone?
I was leaving. Like, what do you care? Oh no, I forgot to put the plastic shroud on there. We should have washed that too.
Well, we're gonna take it back up anyways.
Whatever.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, you're right. That was that. What? That was so dumb. You parked in the wrong spot. Who cares? I tell you, man, some people are so stupid.
There's always something to say about everything.
There were literally 0 spots in that parking lot. I couldn't possibly have parked anywhere else.
What was it somewhere that was clearly marked that you can't park there?
No. Whatever. It was worth it, though. It was worth getting yelled at. realize how nice this styrofoam cleaned up with how little effort I put into it.
Well, I know your opinion differs, but I really don't think it was that bad to begin with.
Well, I'm super allergic to mold, so...
Well, I have no interest in breathing mold either. But...
No, I know you don't, but, like... I remember when I was a kid, I got tested for a bunch of allergens. And so what they would do is they would inject, like, they would inject me with 16 things. And I remember, like, when they injected me with the mold allergen, like, it looked like I had a golf ball under my skin. I'll never forget that. That was crazy. You know, just what an 8-year-old wants done. They want to be shot with needles a million times. My mom bought me a lot of candy, though, for behaving myself, so it was worth it for that, I guess.
She didn't buy you a fan.
She probably should have. Because it was in the summer. That was the funny part. These units never look as bad after you wash them as you think that they will. I've noticed that every single time I've taken one of these apart. Like, they always look like they're going to be awful. Like, this is going to be rusted out. And it almost never is. I think I only ever had one where it was rusted out. And you'll never guess where that unit was located.
In the ocean.
Not far from it, yes. I'll put this useless gasket back in there.
So you think so that the water's getting in there, here, or under where the wires go in?
It's not going to get in where the wires are, because that's the lowest point. So
You don't think they could potentially splash up there from the fan?
Nah, I don't think so. I think it's just getting in through here. Or in through the top.
Is the case open on the top?
It is.
Oh, yeah, well, that explains it then. Yeah, because it is all, the rust is all at the top. I bet that is what's happening.
Look at that.
It's getting in through the top of the cage.
I don't even think that the other one spins down this slowly. The other one that I fixed.
No, that's unusual for sleeve bearings to be that free.
Free at last. Now the hardest part about this, when I put it back together, is going to be trying to get the wires back on the capacitor. Yeah, that's not going anywhere.
Yeah, well, the motion of that should push it towards the motor anyways. That's like ball bearing.
That's like some of the best coast I've ever seen on one of these conditioners before. Alright, so I'm going to wash my hands one more time and we'll drop this back in the unit and power it up and see what it does.
Okay.
We'll be able to get like an actual performance test out of it. And I bet you it'll have like a 35-degree split. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. It'll probably blow in the low 30s.
I believe it with that coil.
Yeah.
It should be probably at least 65 degrees in the garage still, because I shut all the...
Okay, cool.
I didn't close the man door, though. I guess we should have.
That is really incredible. And it's getting quieter and quieter.
Yeah. I bet the noise will be gone by the time we run it after a little while.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. whistle a copyright song.
I was just thinking that better not be a copyright song.
It is, but are we filming?
Yeah, if it gets flagged, I'm gonna have to cut this part out.
I don't even want to say what song it was, just in case
Oh, we'll get canceled. Don't
AI
talk about it.
will. Don't even think about the song.
Let's just take a moment to underscore in the video how much I despise AI.
Ugh. You have a crevice tool for this?
I do.
Okay. Might help over here. That's actually cleaning up pretty nice.
Yeah, just dry too.
I'm sure this coil smells terrible.
Oh no, don't care. Yeah, I'll have to get it wet on the bottom. Good enough for a test, though.
Did we just pick up one of the nuts?
Ah, nuts.
Oh well.
No, it's a bagless vacuum. It's easy enough to get it back. I don't like bagless vacuums, but this is the one case where it makes more sense.
Yeah, it helps. I guess since we're here, we may as well. Look at that. That's nice.
Not a bad machine, actually.
Is that from the OK Will?
No, this is from the free. I heard.
The free?
Somebody was throwing this out, and there was a sign that said, "Works, just old." It's perfect. I like works and just old.
Sounds right up your alley. That's
It was. Needed a new belt, but I mean, $15 for a perfectly good working vacuum.
and a good one at that.
It is a pretty good vacuum. You're supposed to shake the camera.
Otherwise, how would they know that we sneezed?
Right. This works better than I thought it did. That's really throwing out some heat. Works better than I remember.
Isn't that 5 kilowatts though?
It's not a 20 amp outlet, so it can't be that much.
Maybe 3 kilowatts? I don't know.
Does it say how much power it takes?
I don't know, but it's hot as all get out. That's
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
working pretty good. It is, it's just a stupid, useless warning.
Don't put blankets in front of it.
Yeah. Don't use common sense while operating your machine.
Oh, here we go.
4,000 watts.
Wow, that's nuts.
What does that work out to be in amperes? 4,000 divided by whatever.
I don't know. I don't feel like doing the math.
240 line. It's a lot of power, but it does a job.
Probably about 15 amps.
Yeah, that gets a lot hotter than I remember this doing.
It has perfectly good airflow, so.
Yeah. No, it's definitely working properly. It's just better than I remember.
All right, if
This
you
was
wouldn't,
expensive.
if you wouldn't mind just giving me a hand, just holding this shroud while I pick this up. I've done it by myself before, but it's a pain in the
I
butt.
have too, but why struggle?
Yeah, I don't like doing it.
Hold up, I'm gonna line.
You good or? Oh, you know what? There's a screw that has to come out first.
Of where?
It's at.
Oh, I see.
It's only going to be in like 2 turns. Okay. Hold on. There we go. This is a million times easier with 2 people than with 1. I've done it by myself like a million times, but I don't like doing it by myself. I don't have to. All right.
All right, now it's time to throw it out.
We could do that, or we could hook it back up and start it.
Is this even worth having on there? I feel like it just restricts airflow at this point.
It's up to you. I mean, I'll put it back. It makes it harder to smash the fins by accident.
How the heck do you screw this back in?
I'll do it. I have a wobble extension,
Oh.
so it gives it that little bit extra offset.
Well, this is great. I guess you won't have to do anything crazy with it to make it run. It'll run.
It'll run and it'll run, but good.
69 degrees already.
And counting.
I always felt like that doesn't run all that much when I really use it to keep the room warm. Look up here. That's a TPI product.
Is it?
I bought that new old stock for quite a bit of money, but I couldn't find a newer product like it, nor would I trust it.
I don't think you can buy heaters that are that powerful anymore.
I wouldn't trust them anyways.
They're hazardous.
This one's all metal. It's got multiple safeties on it. This thing, I let it run all the time. I don't think nothing of it.
Oh, I always do that.
What happened?
Left the screw in there. It's okay. Well, I'll get it out.
Now, see if all the screws are in the bag. You need more lighting?
No, I could pretty much.
I did have this one more fixture right above it so we could turn on.
Nah, at this point, I could pretty much do this with my eyes closed. Come on. I have some new thread cutting nuts at home that I'll bring with me in the spring we could use on this. Let's see. All right, it's not rubbing or anything.
That's exceptional.
For something that was locked up solid. What a difference like 2 hours makes, right? 5 rows thick. That's amazing.
That looks a little dodgy, that loop there.
Well, don't look at it.
Put that on. Yeah, this rust really isn't as bad as it looked like when we first took it off.
That's what my experience has always seemed to be with these units, is that they look rustier than they actually are after you clean them up. Now what I do with these units is I always go over the bottom of the bulkhead with a wire brush on a drill, and they clean up pretty good.
Yeah, that I've just never gotten quite to the point of doing.
And then I spray them with corrosion inhibitor, like the first inch or two.
See, around here I don't feel like that's necessary. I think if you get it clean and you get the drain hole, you pretty much stopped all the rust.
And unfortunately, that's not how it works where I live. It really stinks. Salt water ruins everything.
Maybe it's time to move.
Oh, I'm working on that. Good. Now I do have to get my phone out and look at the wiring diagram. I kind of sort of remember what the colors are, but I'm a little bit unsure, and I don't want to mess it up and burn the compressor out after we made it this
Yeah,
far.
as long as we got a picture of it, we should be fine.
We know I have a picture of it.
Even the control thing is all dirty. That's kind of weird. Usually it's what's exposed turns.
This thing was disgusting.
Turns an odd color.
This thing was gross when I found it. I did clean it up a little bit before I gave it to you. That is really quite remarkable. All right, I'm gonna wash my hands again. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. Wow. Unreal.
I don't hear it anymore either.
No, it's definitely getting quieter.
Problem. Okay, so there we go. There's the thermal sensor. It was all tucked away in there. Now, this is a pain in the butt. There we go. Gives me a little bit more to work with. All right, if I remember correctly, yellow goes to the fan. Problem with this stupid capacitor. Can't really see it.
Is that capacitor inside something, or is that some kind of weird proprietary thing?
No, it's just some weird plastic housing on this one. I really didn't want to do this, but I have to take it off in order to see which one's the compressor and which one's the fan. I can twist it a little bit. All right, so this side's going to be the compressor side because it has the this little Kickstarter in there. So this must be a neutral, and the fan is yellow. And if I remember correctly, neutral goes to orange. Ah, here we go. All right, orange is neutral. Yellow goes to capacitor. So that means that orange goes to this side over here because neutral is white. But neutral also has to go to the compressor. No, because that's not true, because the compressor neutral gets broken by I'll get it just so these are the three fan speeds. I don't really care about those. The worst that'll happen if you hook them up wrong is high, medium, and low will be wrong, but it'll still run. If I remember correctly, blue is what goes to the thermostat. Well, I don't really have to remember because I do have the wiring diagram. So this big, huge relay is for the compressor, obviously. And that's the longest wire. and then red is the start winding, so that goes to the cap. That's that wire in the back. Okay. And then the remaining wire is black, which is neutral, because
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What a stupid selection in coloring.
And then the funny part is they don't even use white anywhere in this unit. But what's actually kind of comical is that Fedder's used the same colors for like 30 years.
At least it was consistent.
Yeah, and LG uses the same colors too for the fan, I know that.
I have mixed feelings about this being there. That's going to hold a lot of moisture up against the end loops.
You can take it out. That fell out of mine. I'm not a big fan of it either. Mine fell off, so I wasn't going to bother going through the aggravation of putting it back. Okay, so low I think is red.
I wonder if it has to do with temperature regulation, though.
Nah.
You don't think so?
No, because the thermocouple. And mine doesn't have it, and the temperature regulation is excellent. So low is red, blue is medium, and high is black. Or I could have that backwards. I know the medium's blue. High is black, medium's blue, low is red. Okay, so I got that right. And then this is the transformer for the low voltage stuff. And we should be on the air now.
What frequency?
Any frequency you want.
100 megahertz.
I thought you like 900 megahertz.
For phones, yes.
That's an awful lot of slack.
Does this have automatic fan?
No, unfortunately it doesn't.
Even though it has an energy save button, it still
Yeah, the energy save button's weird. All it does on energy save, as I understand, is if you put, if it's stupid. If you put the fan on high, when the thermostat satisfies, it switches the fan down to low until the thermostat calls for cooling again.
What does it say? 10 watts?
Yeah, it doesn't really save anything. I would have rather it shut it off.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't a fan of Energy Saver until I talked to you and you said, hey, when I use Energy Saver, my humidity is a lot lower.
Yeah. It definitely has its disadvantage. I think the mold is going to grow faster and probably isn't good for the coil to let the water sit in there, but in terms of functionality, I think it does work better.
I did notice that my bedroom unit had a little bit more mold than normal when I wouldn't let it dry out every day.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
Alright.
I never find that my units get moldy. Probably don't run enough.
What can I unplug to,
We'll use an extension.
Okay. I mean, I'll finish putting the unit back together. That's not a problem. I just
want to test it before we.
yeah, I just want to see what the fan looks like.
Probably works perfectly.
It's not making any more noise.
Oh, what the?
Did I do that?
What is that?
Looks like mold.
I hope it's not mold.
Oh, this fan does have water damage.
Maybe this.
Sorry to hear that.
This is one of the few things I lost in the first flood. I mean, I didn't lose it because it's still here, but this went under in the first flood.
Before you knew how to manage everything?
Before I even knew it flooded. Well, I mean, to only lose is the condition of a couple boxes, I mean, it fared pretty good.
Okay, that's a reassuring sign. A lot of it's outside, though.
It's not too bad for the traditional coil. It's so sunny out there.
Even mine clean doesn't pull out all that much air.
Well, that's a thick coil. That's to be expected. That's really strong.
I have to tuck these wires in. Let me put that back on. Alright, we know it works now. Wow, 157 watts. That's a very powerful motor.
What's the power factor?
Probably not that good. 197, that's respectable.
About what I would expect. And this was, I assume that's an infrared receiver for a remote.
Yeah. And it'll have a delayed start and a delayed shutdown, which is kind of cool.
Do we know what kind of remote this took?
Well, I know it
Is it
didn't
that
take.
funny one?
No, it didn't because we tried that. In fact, we tried that before we tried fixing the controls.
I wonder if we could get find one somewhere.
Oh yeah, you can probably get it for like $12 on eBay. They probably use the same.
Probably get it for $200 on eBay and get ripped off.
Or that.
You'll have to order it.
Yeah, if you buy it, it'll be a problem. If I buy it, it won't.
Is that in bad shape on the other side?
Mm.
Yeah, it's full of mold. I wouldn't even bother with that.
Remember to just cancel that out?
Yeah, just cancel it out.
Actually, this could be cleaned with
It
that
probably
Lysol
could
stuff.
be, yeah.
Let's hold on to it.
Alright, put it on.
Okay, so it probably goes kind of like that. Alrighty. Obviously, this isn't normal. It's supposed to stick to the other half of that sleeve. You know what you could do that would help, if you don't mind, is just pushing up that rear grill.
Yeah, I really don't want to do that.
Do you want to take it out and throw it away?
No, I don't care. We can put it back. Is it lined up correctly?
Yeah.
Looks like it's hanging up. Oh, it's
You got it? Got it tucked under there, or?
out. It should have been metal. I really can't imagine this saved it much damage.
Hold on. Okay, we let it down. This is a pain in the butt. It probably helps like a minuscule amount.
Well, if it did fall out of a window, it did something, I guess.
Yeah, the
Well,
rear
the
coil's
coil-
not smashed up all that bad. Alrighty, we're almost home.
I'm home.
I'm not anywhere near home. Whereas Frankie Goes to Hollywood, welcome to the Pleasure Dome, and we're a long way from home. 50-cent bargain CD I got earlier today.
It's now 71 degrees, so I'm pretty sure this will run by itself with no problem. Should only, in theory, get warmer as it runs anyways.
That's true, it's a heater. Although this only throws off 750 watts at full throttle, so.
But it's not 100% efficient, so it's going to make more heat than it transfers.
Well, that's what I mean. You'll be adding 750 watts of heat into the room. I feel like I'm missing something here. Some screws. Something doesn't seem right. Ah, there's that stupid guard again.
It came out.
A little bit.
Oh, I see. This is where it's all bent.
Yeah, this thing, I think it fell out a window. This unit's really messed
Yeah, what we
up.
should do is just take an angle grinder to this and cut it all the way down to the bottom, and there's your drain hole.
This thing is so messed up.
But it's still running.
That really is quite remarkable, isn't it? I mean, anything that's this old and fell out a window and still works can't be half bad.
Nope.
despite what the collectors think about these units.
Do we have the side curtains for this?
Yeah.
Really don't even need them as long as I have those two big foam strips in most of the windows.
Well, I forgot to put a screw back somewhere, and I don't know where it is.
Is it this one here in the back?
Well, that's one of them, yes. I know what it's for.
Is it important?
Yeah, unfortunately. It's for, no, I did screw that in. It can't be that. I was going to say it's for the rear shroud, but I put that back. Oh well. I guess we have one extra screw.
Well, it's a good spare part for something else.
Or for the next time we take it apart and we go, hey, why isn't there a screw there? Honestly, I'd put it in like a Ziploc bag and put it inside the unit or something. That's kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Can we buy something that would be comparable to like a sticky back to put on there?
I'd
rather
some.
just replace it.
I might have something at home.
'Cause I've washed this stuff before, but I feel like you never really get the mold out of it.
They gave me something at work, a small piece. It is a sticky back, and what it's meant for is for, like, you put it under water fountains so that if the water fountain somebody spills, you know, a paper cup or something, it picks that up. It's like a sorbent, but it does have an adhesive back. This is kind of ghetto, but
What is?
the way that I'm, you know, I can't do anything about this at this juncture, so it is what it is. This is all messed up.
That is really not what it should be.
Tell you what I'll do.
You want to just tape it up for the moment?
I have it.
actually tape it. We just put a piece of tape like that to hold it up.
Well, the vents will hold it up. I'm just going to put the vents on separately.
Oh, okay.
That'll fix it. Come on. What the heck? Oh. So that'll hold that up. So it's going to be a little bit trickier. We'll get it.
The carrier just...
I just heard it.
Or I don't know which one. I think that was the carrier. The thermostat's pretty loud on that thing.
You're going to start hearing a lot of clicks.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too. But I hear a whole bunch of them click over.
Come on, Betsy. Ah. There we go. All right. That's as good as it's going to get for now. Okay. All right. For demonstration purposes, let's just. Okay. It's already getting cool.
That compressor's silent.
Sounded a little odd at first, but
That's normal for a stupid rotary.
well, for something that's been sitting for months without starting up, it's actually not that loud.
No, I'm gonna say it doesn't seem that bad. And a lot of that sounds like it's condenser noise.
I'm a light sleeper, and I slept with one of these in a bedroom that I slept in often.
I don't care about nighttime. It's during the day that it bothers me. Well, 72 degrees in here. Let it cook for a while, and we'll come back with the temperature and see what we got.
I was like, wow, it's really getting hot, and then I realized that I'm standing in front of the heater.
Probably can turn it off.
It's cold.
The heater's cold?
Yeah. Oof, smells like a musty basement.
Oh, I'll air out the garage tomorrow.
Another one. $25. C-Stuff fan motor, dead controls.
Yell that. There we go.
Yelled at.
Yeah, that's cool nicely. That's pretty quick for a rotary too.
Those Matsushidas are just next level. It's a little bit loud.
There's a difference in the speeds.
I hear it's starting to build up head pressure now. The compressor changed its pitch a little bit.
Yeah, that's real quiet. 6.5 amps.
It's cold.
It's not that hot in the back yet either.
It's probably really strong.
Because there's not a lot of load.
I can't believe this thing most likely has a full charge after what it went through.
That doesn't surprise me.
It fell out a window.
Yeah, but a bend is not going to necessarily break the pipe.
I don't know. I mean, I killed the unit by lifting the sealed system out of it and putting it back.
Well, maybe you
once.
didn't do it right.
I'm sure I didn't, but what I did wrong, I don't even know.
Was it rated for 7.5 amps? Yes. Well, we're on 6.7 in the room that's 72 degrees, so I might get up there.
There's hardly any airflow out of the back, though.
That's true. Not good condensing.
Yeah, this needs aerosol coil cleaner. If you use New Bright, you might really.
I'll
miss
use
that
it
one.
really diluted.
Or like 8-to-1 or something.
I don't even go that much all the time.
That fan motor sounds really nice.
Yeah, I don't hear that bearing noise at all.
I think the fan.
Let's vent the room out.
There you go. Oh, much better now. That's good and cold. It's not freezing yet, but it'll probably get there. I can't even hear the compressor.
I can't either.
And that's on low.
I can hear a little bit of sound bouncing off that junk, but that's about it. You wouldn't hear that compressor if this was in the window.
Well, that was worth all the effort that we put it through.
I agree.
And getting yelled at.
Yelling at you to go get it.
Well, you were right. I mean, I can't argue with that. This thing is so busted up.
Who cares? It's running. Yeah, it's not getting good airflow at all out of this thing.
It's also on low, though. Plus, look at how, bunch of the it needs to be combed out pretty good.
I don't know, those two marks, they might not come out. Those are pretty deep. I guess it's not too bad. It's something.
Man, that's really cold. I bet you that's in the 40s already.
Could be. Yeah, that's refrigerator cold for sure.
You know they make a device that'll measure temperature, right?
What's that?
Thermometer.
Oh. Yeah, actually, I think I got one of those recently.
You know what's sick? This fan sounds better than the fan in mine does.
It's not worried about it. Too good, I guess.
Amps are going down, not surprisingly. If I remember correctly, the power factor was okay on it, but not particularly. 0.81.
That's pretty bad for all PSC stuff. Well, that's got to be the compressor because the fan motor was fine.
Yeah, fire motor was like 0.98.
I wonder if the capacitor is drifting. It's not good airflow, but it's not coming out scorching hot. It's pretty reasonable, actually.
The amount of airflow coming out of the register is actually relatively respectable on that.
It's a little bit, well, see, this one seems very weak to me. This is decent. This still feels kind of more like a 5 to me. But
Well,
it is cold. It's very cold.
And also, you know, just to reiterate how thick the evaporator
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's very cold air coming out of here. So even though it's a smaller volume of air, it's still going to do some pretty good cooling.
There's a decent amount of air coming out of the back. It's not great, but it's not horrible.
It's not scorching hot. So it doesn't seem like it's really hot. I wonder if this is worth. Well, actually, on my house, the overhang should cover this, but I would say I almost wonder if this is worth covering up to keep the motor away from the moisture.
Or just wrap the motor with blue painter's tape or something.
Yeah. I guess it is drawing a lot of air in though.
Yeah, you kind of have to have this because it needs to pull that air in.
You can hear a difference.
That
That's
also,
stupid design.
it also helps keep the motor cool too. That motor will get pretty hot if you don't have good airflow over it. I mean, it's 180 watts or something, right?
A lot of power. I mean, in my case, I don't think it'll get wet anyways. Actually, there's hardly any air going inside.
I bet you if you put a piece of paper up against it, it'll suck it up.
I don't know. I feel like you could cover this up and it would still just draw from the sides.
I mean, it may very well be. I mean, they've put 10Ks in these chassis, so
And that 12 it has the stupid little tiny one on the side or something.
I don't even know what the purpose of that is.
That at least I could see puts a lot of air in there. Well, it won't get wet in my windows. Running real good.
We saved it.
Yep. Yeah, that's cool.
I wouldn't even be surprised if that's like 38 degrees now.
That's refrigerator temperature for sure.
See, it's so dry in here, the line probably won't even sweat.
46%. That's not astronomically dry. I think we should split it 50%.
I don't know, it's drawing power like it has a full charge. I don't see the line sweating though.
Well, let's give it some time. It is a really thick coil. It might take some time to fill it all the way up. There's no way this doesn't have a full charge with the performance that we're getting.
Oh, I know where the screw belongs. The screw belongs for that bracket that holds up the wires. I forgot to put that back. So what I'll do is I'll put a piece of tape and tape the screw up there. Because it'll be really obvious where it goes when we take it apart again.
I got some tape where those donuts are.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll let it sit for a little bit and we'll clean up the studio.
Maybe it needs a good service.
Well, I did. I did service it. Probably capacitor.
To this extent?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I put the rotor in a drill and I polished the shaft and everything.
Maybe if you put the rotor in a drill press, it'd be better.
Off center. Wow.
So we have input of approximately 70, and we're getting 43 out. Which is very respectable.
30, yeah, like 27-degree delta.
Yeah, which is totally respectable. And this is real temperature, not no infrared thing. Sounds a little weird when you first shut it down, but for the condition that it came in, I think it's perfectly fine. It's spinning real free.
Nice.
And so it's dried up now, but it was going back cold, so
Yeah, it was.
this is now functional. It just needs to be cleaned out pretty good, and then it will be ready for use.
See you in the spring.